10. The growth hormone deficiency that nearly ended his dream. Long before Lionel Messi became a global superstar, he was a frail little boy in Rosario, Argentina. By the age of 10, Messi was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, a condition that prevented his body from producing enough growth hormones to develop normally. Simply put, his body stopped growing while his dreams kept getting bigger. Doctors told his family that the treatment would cost about $1,000 a month, an impossible figure for a working-class household. His father, Jorge Messi, tried everything: insurance companies, local clubs, even government programs. But no one was willing to pay. That's when fate intervened in the most unexpected way. One day, a Barcelona scout named Carles Rexach saw a recording of young Messi dribbling past boys twice his size. He couldn't believe his eyes. "This boy isn't human," he said. When the Messi family flew to Spain for a trial, Messi was only 13, shy, quiet, and terrified. Yet once he touched the ball, everyone at La Masia, Barcelona's youth academy, knew they were watching something special. The famous story goes that Rexach was so desperate to sign him that he wrote Messi's first contract on a napkin at a cafe. That napkin changed football history. Barcelona agreed to cover his medical treatment, and his family moved to Spain. Within a few years, the same boy once considered too small to play professional football became the one everyone looked up to, literally and figuratively. It's poetic, really. The kid whose body refused to grow became the player who would grow beyond every record in football history. Messi's journey from hormone injections to Ballon d'Or trophies is a living reminder that physical limits mean nothing compared to the size of one's heart. Number 9. Messi's first contract was signed on a napkin, and it was almost never honored. Imagine this: your entire future, your destiny, written on a restaurant napkin. That's exactly how Messi's career began. In December 2000, at the Pompeia Tennis Club in Barcelona, Carles Rexach sat across from Jorge Messi and young Lionel. Rexach knew he'd just seen the next Maradona, but bureaucracy stood in the way. Barcelona's board thought it was too risky to sign a 13-year-old from another continent. Rexach was furious. To prove his commitment, he grabbed a napkin and wrote by hand, "In Barcelona, on 14th of December 2000, I, Carles Rexach, sporting director of FC Barcelona, in the presence of Josep Minguella and Horacio Gaggioli, agree to sign Lionel Messi as long as we maintain the agreed terms." That napkin, signed right there on the cafe table, became one of the most legendary contracts in sports history. But here's the twist: Barcelona's board almost didn't honor it. Many thought Rexach had lost his mind. A 13-year-old kid from Argentina? Too small, too risky, too expensive. They delayed the official paperwork for months. Messi's family was on the verge of returning home when the club finally approved his registration. When Messi joined La Masia, he barely spoke, often crying during training because he missed his mother and siblings who were still in Argentina. But when the ball touched his feet, everything changed. Coaches said he had the ball glued to his foot, as if it obeyed his every command. Within months, the shy boy who didn't talk became the silent assassin who couldn't stop scoring. By 17, he debuted for Barcelona's first team. By 19, he was being compared to the greatest players of all time, and all because a scout dared to trust his gut and a napkin. That single piece of paper, now preserved in a glass frame, represents something larger than a contract. It symbolizes risk, belief, and the kind of once-in-a-lifetime faith that defines greatness. Without that napkin, there might be no Messi, no 700 goals, no 8 Ballon d'Ors. Just a story about a kid who almost was. It's funny to think how fragile destiny can be. Sometimes it hangs by a thread, or, in Messi's case, by a napkin. Messi's rise wasn't built on wealth or privilege. It was a storm of impossible odds, stitched together by faith, family, and football. From hormone injections to handwritten contracts, every early chapter of his life reads like something out of a sports movie. But it was all real. In the next part, we'll see how the boy who couldn't grow ended up redefining greatness itself, breaking records, shattering defenses, and leaving even legends speechless. Lecture 8. Messi's first game for Barcelona. Almost ended in disaster. Most fans remember Messi's magical debut with admiration, but what few know is how close it came to going terribly wrong. On November 16, 2003, a 16-year-old Lionel Messi stepped onto the field for the first time with Barcelona's first team in a friendly against Porto, coached by none other than Jose Mourinho. For most players, debuting for one of the biggest clubs in the world would be nerve-wracking. For Messi, it was more than that. It was do or die. At that time, Barcelona was still skeptical about putting too much trust in a skinny teenager who barely spoke. The coaching staff warned him, "Don't try to do too much." But anyone who's watched Messi play knows that's not in his DNA. Within minutes of coming on, he began slicing through Porto's defense with his signature low center of gravity, leaving defenders flailing. Yet, the match didn't go smoothly. The Portuguese players, realizing they couldn't catch him fairly, started fouling him ruthlessly. At one point, a harsh tackle sent Messi tumbling face first into the turf, the entire stadium gasping. The medical team rushed over, and for a few seconds it seemed like the dream might be over before it even began. But Messi got up, dusted himself off, and kept playing. No drama, no complaints. When the match ended, Ronaldinho, the team's shining star at the time, pulled him aside and said, "You'll be better than me one day." That wasn't flattery, it was prophecy. That night marked the first time fans saw what would become Messi's trademark style. Fearless dribbling, ice-cold composure, and that quiet intensity that doesn't shout but destroys. After that match, even Mourinho reportedly told colleagues, "That kid is going to be unstoppable." And unstoppable he was. By the next season, he had earned his place in the first team, but the road there wasn't smooth. He still had to battle homesickness, language barriers, and intense physical training to bulk up. Yet every obstacle only made him sharper. Looking back, that bruising debut wasn't a disaster. It was a baptism. Lecture 7. The night Messi broke Real Madrid's heart at just 19. If there was ever a night that announced Messi as football's new monarch, it was March 10, 2007. The venue, Camp Nou. The event, El Clásico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, the fiercest rivalry in world football. The world was watching two titans clash, but no one expected that a 19-year-old kid would steal the show from both. Barcelona was struggling that season. Real Madrid came in strong with stars like Ruud van Nistelrooy, Sergio Ramos, and Roberto Carlos. Within minutes, Madrid struck first. But every time they scored, Messi answered. First goal, Messi equalizes with a quick tap-in. Second goal, Madrid leads again, and Messi responds with another lightning strike. Then, with the clock ticking down and fans already losing hope, Messi picked up the ball near the halfway line. What followed was pure sorcery. He danced through defenders, 1, 2, 3, then shot past Casillas into the net. Hat trick. Game tied 3-3. Camp Nou exploded. It was the moment the world realized this wasn't just another young talent. This was the beginning of a revolution. A 19-year-old had just single-handedly humiliated Real Madrid, the very team that prided itself on crushing youth with experience. Commentators called it the birth of a legend. Teammates called him the little genius. And even fans of Real Madrid had to admit they'd witnessed something historic. What made that night so defining wasn't just the goals. It was the way Messi carried himself. No chest-thumping, no trash talk, no wild celebration. He simply walked back to the center circle, calm as ever. It was as if he already knew this was only the beginning. That match didn't win Barcelona the league, but it won Messi something greater: respect. From that night onward, every Clásico became a war between Messi and Madrid, a duel that would last over a decade, with moments that made history books look too small to contain them all. And what's truly remarkable is that Messi was still just a teenager. Most 19-year-olds worry about exams or first jobs. Messi was dismantling one of the greatest football clubs in the world on live television. That 3-3 draw became the turning point in his career. It gave him the confidence to step out of Ronaldinho's shadow and become the face of Barcelona. Within months, he would start breaking records, winning titles, and redefining football itself. Rivalry 6. The game that made Messi the new Maradona. Every generation of Argentinians grew up hearing one name whispered like a prayer: Maradona. He was the football god, the man who carried Argentina to glory in 1986. But by 2007, people wondered if anyone would ever live up to that legend. Then came April 18, 2007, the Copa del Rey semifinal against Getafe. What happened that night was so unreal that even commentators thought they were watching a replay from 1986. Messi received the ball near the halfway line. Two defenders closed in. He slipped between them as if they weren't even there. Then another, and another. Within seconds, the boy who had once been told he was too small to play had dribbled past 5 defenders, rounded the goalkeeper, and slotted the ball into the net. The crowd went silent for half a heartbeat, then erupted into pure chaos. The replay looked identical to Maradona's goal of the century against England. The same run, same precision, same balance, even the same number of touches. The world's media went wild. "The new Maradona is here," screamed headlines from Buenos Aires to London. But while comparisons flooded in, Messi remained calm. When reporters asked him about it, he simply shrugged and said, "I just saw the space and went for it." That humility, that quiet genius, became the very thing that set him apart from every other football icon. That goal wasn't just beautiful, it was symbolic. It showed that Argentina's golden bloodline hadn't ended with Maradona, it had evolved. From that day forward, Messi stopped being a prodigy and became a phenomenon. And yet, even as the world crowned him the next Maradona, Messi was busy proving he was something else entirely. He wasn't here to be the next anyone. He was here to be the first Messi. But here's the twist. Messi would go on to face the same curse that haunted Maradona, carrying the entire weight of Argentina's expectations on his shoulders. For years, critics would call him the European Argentine, saying he played like a Spaniard, not a true gaucho. They accused him of loving Barcelona more than his homeland. Little did they know, that same quiet man would one day lead Argentina to a World Cup that silenced them all. But we'll get there soon. That night against Getafe wasn't just a goal. It was destiny repeating itself, but this time even sharper, faster, and cleaner. Revive. The year Messi did the impossible, winning it all. Fast forward to 2009. Barcelona was already strong, with players like Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, and Dani Alves. But when Pep Guardiola took over, something changed. He built the team around one man, Lionel Messi. What followed became the greatest single season in modern football history. Messi and Barcelona didn't just win, they conquered. 6 trophies in 1 year. No team in the history of football had ever done that. The Spanish League, Copa del Rey, Champions League, Supercopa de España, UEFA Super Cup, and FIFA Club World Cup, all in 1 calendar year. It was pure domination, orchestrated by a man who was still only 22, but it wasn't just the silverware that made it legendary. It was how they won. Guardiola transformed Barcelona's play style into a symphony. Quick passes, constant movement, and a philosophy called tiki-taka. Messi was the conductor, the heartbeat, and the executioner. He scored 38 goals that season and assisted countless others. He wasn't just finishing plays, he was creating them, directing them, and redefining what it meant to be a forward. Then came the 2009 Champions League final against Manchester United. The world's best player at the time was Cristiano Ronaldo, and everyone expected a clash of titans. Messi, smaller, quieter, and less theatrical, was supposed to be overshadowed. Instead, he leapt, literally, into history. In the 70th minute, Messi, standing at only 5'7", scored a header over Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, two of the most dominant defenders in Europe. It was like watching a cat outjump two lions. When the final whistle blew, Barcelona had won 2-0. Messi had cemented his legacy, and the image of him leaping into the air with his arms raised became immortal. That season earned him his first Ballon d'Or, the award for the world's best player, the first of many. But even as the spotlight grew brighter, Messi remained grounded. No drama, no arrogance, just pure love for the game. His teammates described him as silent in the locker room, unstoppable on the field. Guardiola once said, "Don't write about him. Don't try to describe him. Just watch him." 2009 wasn't just Messi's breakout year, it was football's awakening. Fans realized they weren't just witnessing a great player. They were witnessing the beginning of an era that would define the sport for the next 15 years. What made Messi's dominance so fascinating wasn't his speed, power, or size. It was his intelligence. He could see space before it opened, sense defenders before they moved, and execute passes that defied logic. Watching him play felt less like watching an athlete and more like watching an artist painting with his feet. And while others chased fame, Messi chased perfection. Every game, every dribble, every goal. It all looked effortless, but behind it was obsessive precision. 2009 proved something the world would never forget. Messi wasn't just playing football. He was rewriting it. Figure 4. The rivalry that redefined football. Messi versus Ronaldo. Every era in football has its duels. Pelé versus Maradona, Zidane versus Figo. But none has ever matched the intensity, longevity, and perfection of Messi versus Ronaldo. For over 15 years, these two didn't just dominate football, they divided the planet. You were either Team Messi or Team Ronaldo. There was no middle ground. Their rivalry wasn't about hatred, it was about excellence pushing excellence. Cristiano Ronaldo was the ultimate machine, disciplined, sculpted, explosive. Messi, on the other hand, was a natural, fluid, instinctive, effortless. Ronaldo built himself into a superhero through sheer willpower. Messi was born with a gift that seemed almost supernatural. From 2008 to 2018, the two of them collected every Ballon d'Or except one. They shattered records so casually it felt unfair to the rest of the football world. While Ronaldo was hammering goals in the Premier League and La Liga, Messi was performing magic at Camp Nou, bending time, twisting defenders, and making the impossible look routine. What made their rivalry so legendary was how personal it felt to fans. Every El Clasico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, became more than a game. It was a war between two philosophies. Ronaldo's raw power against Messi's artistry. Ronaldo's roar versus Messi's silence. And the world loved it. Between them, they scored more than 1,400 career goals, won over 60 major trophies, and forced each other to reach levels no one thought humanly possible. Even the players themselves acknowledged it. Ronaldo once said, "I see Messi as a man who makes me a better player." And Messi, ever the humble one, replied, "Our rivalry is good for football. He motivates me to improve." For a decade, football wasn't just a sport. It was a global debate that crossed borders, languages, and generations. The greatest part: both men delivered every single time. Whether it was Messi's solo run against Madrid or Ronaldo's bicycle kick against Juventus, they answered each other like chess masters trading blows in slow motion. But as the years passed, something beautiful happened. The rivalry softened into mutual respect. When Ronaldo left La Liga in 2018, Messi admitted, "I miss him. It was always special facing him." It wasn't about who was better anymore. It was about two titans who had carried football to heights it might never reach again. When the curtain finally falls on both their careers, historians will argue for centuries who was truly the greatest. But deep down, fans know the truth. The world was lucky to witness both at the same time. Number 3. The emotional farewell, leaving Barcelona after 21 years. If Messi's life were a movie, this would be the scene that breaks your heart. August 2021, a day no Barcelona fan will ever forget. Messi stood on a stage inside the Camp Nou, surrounded by trophies, journalists, and family, his eyes red from tears. The unthinkable had happened. After 21 years, the king of Barcelona was leaving. For over 2 decades, Barcelona wasn't just his club, it was his home. He arrived there as a 13-year-old boy with a growth disorder and left as the club's greatest player of all time. 672 goals, 35 trophies, and countless memories later, Messi's voice trembled as he tried to speak. "I don't know if I'll be able to talk. I've been here all my life." The room fell silent, many reporters crying along with him. The reason wasn't betrayal or ego. It was bureaucracy. Barcelona's financial crisis meant they could no longer meet La Liga's salary cap while renewing Messi's contract. It was an ending no one wanted. Not the fans, not the club, not even Messi himself. That day, thousands gathered outside the stadium, chanting his name through tears. "Messi no se va." Messi isn't leaving. But he was. The image of him hugging teammates, walking out with his wife Antonella and their children, remains one of the most emotional moments in sports history. When he joined Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, days later, the football world felt wrong. Seeing Messi in another jersey, smiling but not quite glowing, reminded fans that even legends are human, and that even fairy tales end. Yet, what's remarkable is how Messi handled it. No bitterness, no blame, just gratitude. "I gave everything for this club," he said, "and I'll always love it." That level of grace is what separated Messi from almost every superstar before him. Even at PSG, surrounded by new stars and a different culture, Messi kept playing with the same quiet brilliance. And though some critics doubted he could shine outside Barcelona, he proved them wrong again, leading Argentina to glory soon after, a redemption arc so powerful it felt written by fate itself. When he finally returned to Camp Nou for a tribute match, tens of thousands erupted into chants that shook the city. "Messi, Messi, Messi," because deep down they all knew. He might have left Barcelona, but Barcelona would never leave him. His farewell wasn't an ending. It was a reminder that greatness doesn't belong to one club. It belongs to history. Number 2. The redemption of a nation. Messi's World Cup triumph. For years, Lionel Messi's critics had one argument. He's great for Barcelona, but he can't win with Argentina. It was the ghost that followed him everywhere, the same shadow that once haunted Maradona's legacy. Messi came close several times: the 2014 World Cup final, the Copa America heartbreaks, the tears after missed penalties. He even announced his retirement from international football in 2016, saying, "For me, the national team is over." But fate wasn't done with him. In 2021, during the Copa America in Brazil, Messi came back with one mission: to break the curse. Argentina hadn't won a major title in 28 years. This was more than a trophy. It was redemption. Every game, Messi played like a man possessed, scoring, assisting, leading, and even defending. His passion was raw. You could see it in the way he celebrated goals, in the way he hugged his teammates, in the way he never stopped believing. Then came the final against Brazil in their home stadium, Maracanã, the same arena that had humiliated Argentina in 2014. The pressure was suffocating. Brazil was unbeaten there for years. Yet, against all odds, Argentina held strong. Angel Di Maria scored the only goal, and when the final whistle blew, Messi collapsed to the ground, crying. His teammates ran to lift him up, literally, hoisting him on their shoulders as the stadium roared. Finally, the boy from Rosario had done what the entire nation had waited decades to see. That moment wasn't just victory. It was absolution. Messi's face glowed with relief, pride, and disbelief. He had carried Argentina on his back for almost 2 decades, through pain, criticism, and endless comparisons. Now, he was a champion for his country. But the story didn't end there. 1 year later, at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, Messi wrote the final chapter of his legend. At 35, when most players fade away, he played like a man reborn. Every pass, every goal felt scripted by destiny. Argentina lost their opening match against Saudi Arabia, and yet that loss seemed to awaken a beast inside them. Messi led them through every knockout round, including a semi-final where he destroyed Croatia's defense like a man half his age. Then came the final, Argentina versus France. The world watched as Messi scored twice, Kylian Mbappé scored a hat-trick, and the match went to penalties. When Gonzalo Montiel scored the final kick, Messi fell to his knees. He had done it. World Cup champion. The only missing piece of his career now gleamed in gold. From that moment, the debate ended. Messi wasn't just the greatest of his generation. He was the greatest of all time. Even his harshest critics bowed their heads. The image of him lifting the World Cup trophy, draped in the Argentine flag, became an instant icon. A closing scene worthy of mythology. Number 1. Messi's legacy, the humble genius who changed the game. Forever, in a world obsessed with noise, Messi conquered with silence. No scandals, no controversies, no drama. Just brilliance. While other athletes turned their fame into brands, Messi turned his into inspiration. He didn't chase attention. He earned it, one impossible goal at a time. What makes Messi's story so timeless isn't just the records, though they are staggering. Over 800 career goals, 8 Ballon d'Ors, 4 Champions League titles, 10 La Liga crowns, and countless others. What makes him special is how he achieved it all, with humility, grace, and joy. He never tried to be a hero, he just played the game he loved. He never talked trash. He let his feet do the talking. Even when fans or pundits doubted him, he never responded with anger, only with goals. That's why so many children around the world wear his name on their backs, dreaming not just to play like Messi, but to be like Messi. Off the field, he's a devoted husband to Antonella, his childhood sweetheart, and a loving father to Tiago, Matteo, and Kiro. Despite his fame, he still lives simply, rarely seen at wild parties or luxury events. He donates millions to hospitals, builds schools, and quietly funds causes for underprivileged children. For Messi, greatness isn't measured by applause. It's measured by impact. Perhaps that's why, even as he moved to Inter Miami in the United States, fans across the globe still watched him with the same awe. Because Messi isn't just a footballer. He's an idea. The idea that talent and humility can coexist, that magic still exists in modern sports, that you can be the best in the world and still stay human. His legacy will outlive records and trophies. It lives in every young player who dares to dream, in every fan who believes that even the smallest kid can rise above giants. As journalist Graham Hunter once said, Messi doesn't play football. He solves football. And perhaps that, as the best way to put it, Messi didn't just master the game. He rewrote its laws. From a sick child in Rosario to the greatest player the world has ever seen, Lionel Messi's story isn't just about football. It's about faith, perseverance, and the kind of genius that doesn't shout. It whispers. His journey proves that greatness isn't given. It's built, one step, one dribble, one dream at a time. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and share it with your friends who love football as much as you do. Subscribe to our channel to discover more untold stories behind the world's greatest legends. Hit Join to become a channel member for exclusive content, interviews, behind-the-scenes insights, and bonus videos we only share with our community. And if you'd like to support our work directly, hit the Super Thanks button below. Every bit helps us bring you more incredible stories like this one. Thanks for watching, and remember, legends come and go, but Messi is forever.